Greetings, traveler. I was also upset to hear that Skyblivion has officially been pushed to 2026. Deep down, I still had this small hope that the developers had some hidden plan that would somehow let them release the game in 2025. But today it became clear. The delay isn't just about the scale of the Imperial City. There's the Skyrim-based UI instead of the Oblivion-style one, the cut underwater combat, the broken spellcrafting system. So let's break down what's actually going on and enjoy the video. I'll start with something from my previous video, the one where I tried to predict Skyblivion's release window. Back then, I mentioned the Imperial City, saying it would likely be the bottleneck, and I'm honestly surprised I got the direction right. But at the same time, I completely underestimated the scale, because today, the Imperial City is the main obstacle and the key reason Skyblivion needs more time. There are just too many structures, too many interiors. It's the literal heart of Cyrodiil, both in the world map and technically, because quests, navmesh grids, 1PC logic, AI behaviors, and all the underlying systems pass straight through the city. Meanwhile, all the other cities, Anvil, Bravil, Bruma, Shadenhall, Coral, Leowin, and Skingrad are fully completed. Kvatch is also finished, and redesigned into a completely destroyed city with its own unique encounters. As for interiors, ignoring the Imperial City, houses, shops, taverns, castles, chapels, inns, all of that is basically done. The world space is also completed 100%. Every region, every unique realm, including the Deadlands. Only a few random dungeons remain unfinished, and that's pretty much. And by the way, since the entire world space is now complete, the team also released an interactive satellite map on their website. You can explore all of Cyrodiil from above: mountains, cities, forests, dungeons, everything. Highly recommend checking it out. I'll leave the link in the description. But regarding Navmesh, the quest critical areas are expected to be finished by Q4 2025, and the full world Navmesh by Q1 2026. That's around March, and honestly, a release around Oblivion's anniversary suddenly feels very possible. From the 3D side, things are also nearing the finish line. Weapons, armor, clothing, plants, and most architectural assets are already done, except for the Imperial City, which still remains the largest chunk of work. The implementation team is now polishing the last low-priority items, small decor pieces, objects that need animations, or things that must be replaced with Skyrim equivalents. Mechanics are progressing too. The department handling gameplay systems is relatively new, but they're working steadily. Right now, they're gathering feedback from internal playtests, seeing how the game feels from the inside. After the perk UI is implemented, they plan to bring in external playtesters. Their target is to have the core systems, alchemy, magic, perks, crafting, functioning by the end of the year. There's also one more heavy task, the final cinematic. The team hired professional animators to handle this last major cutscene, but they're still short on people for rendering, set dressing, VFX, and destruction simulation. So if you have any of these skills, please consider applying. The link to the official website will be in the description. And after release, we can expect patches, updates, and possibly a whole set of post-launch features, more creatures, followers, and hirelings, even more unique armor and weapons, new spells, dynamic dungeons, grave robbing, a new take on spellcrafting, Oblivion-style UI skins, and we'll come back to those last two in a moment, because they're important topics. We can also expect the Shivering Isles and Knights of the Nine, but after the main release. I actually planned to make a whole separate video about the Skyblivion UI. It was already on my schedule, but then Kyle posted his update before I did, and what I read on Reddit, link in the description, and what I later saw in the official video honestly threw me off. Because for the first time, I learned that Skyblivion's UI will currently be based on Skyrim's interface, and as the department lead explained, he was very direct. He said that Skyblivion's custom UI was never finished. It was always in a state of being redesigned, and now, in their view, they need to prioritize functionality and consistency, meaning the UI has to work 100%, not just look pretty. And when he says, the UI is a tool the player interacts with hundreds of times throughout the playthrough, I completely agree. That's absolutely true. But that's exactly why this hits so hard. Because if the UI is something you constantly see, then it's the thing that shapes the atmosphere. It either supports the identity of the world or breaks it. And here, I have very mixed feelings. Skyrim's UI inside Skyblivion, for me personally, completely breaks the atmosphere. It's cold, grey, Nordic. It doesn't belong to Oblivion. It doesn't match that golden Roman fantasy style we saw in the dev videos, and it's genuinely hard for me to imagine this magical Cyrodiil aesthetic paired with an interface visually taken from an entirely different game. Yes, I know they said that post-release they might revisit the visual style and consider Oblivion-inspired UI skins, but I genuinely want to start my first Skyblivion playthrough with the interface they originally showed in their dev updates, not wait for a separate release later. Because for me, Skyblivion feels like its own game, its own story, and with Skyrim's UI, it will visually feel like a mod, and I'm not hating on anyone. I'm sharing my emotions and thoughts simply as a person, a fan, a creator of this channel. I know these views might be unpopular. The internet is always ready to hate, but I want to be honest with you. As for cut features, it's a real shame underwater combat was removed. It could have been an amazing mechanic, and I still believe it could be developed further in the future. In my video about Skyblivion mechanics, I even suggested an idea, using underwater plants, based on the spiderweb assets from Skyrim. That way you could explore underwater ruins or sunken ships with more detail and atmosphere. Yeah, it's a small touch, I know, but it adds life. And I genuinely hope underwater combat returns someday. Yes, I know there were technical conflicts and animation issues, but I'll be waiting anyway. The same goes for spellcrafting. Unfortunately, the person who made the system left, and the original code was never handed over to the team. But again, I see this as a feature with massive potential. I would love to use something like this in Skyblivion, and I truly believe it will eventually be implemented. If not at launch, then at least sometime later. That's my take on where Skyblivion really is right now, with all the good news and all the painful cuts. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the delay, the Skyrim-style UI, and the removed features? Which one would you bring back first if you could? Drop your thoughts in the comments, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and see you in the next videos.